3, 2, 1, go. So, how are you, magnificent person? What's been up?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for asking. What's up? Everything is up. Everything is good these days.
Yeah. So, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been working a lot actually on different things.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've been trying to sell a film to a producer recently.
Right. How did that go?
Well, it's still in the works.
Okay.
I told you I had an important phone call before I came here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to call a guy who's gonna help me with this guy.
A lot of guys.
Yeah, I have a guy for all of my things, you know. I have a guy for my guy.
Okay, cool. And so where are you at with this one now?
So
what's going on with that project?
You know Sandy,
Yeah.
a good friend of mine. She's a very talented writer.
She
And
is.
a few months ago, we co-produced our first short film. We went up to Lake District and we shot it there. She wrote it and directed it, and I had the role in it. So now we decided, like, let's take the next step. So she went to Mallorca for a week after we've been having a few meetings discussing, and then she decided to write a feature film.
Wow.
So she wrote a whole film with Freddie in the lead role, and then now we're trying to sell that to a producer, and then we're gonna collaborate and make a film.
That is interesting. I actually would love to see that. And is it safe to assume you're the aspiring artist?
Well, hopefully well, she wrote it for me, kind of. So it's a Danish guy, you know.
Well, she wants to be really happy with you, and then in the end, you're going to be all blind and
All blind, yeah.
and miserable
It's
in
really
your own
focusing
small.
on like the modern day. Everyone wants to be someone, and if you become someone, but then start to lose the attention, man, people get desperate. It's all about that. Irrelevance creates desperation in this day and age. Kind of focusing on that.
That is an interesting topic. That really is. Wow. Well done, Sandy. Well, hopefully you guys are going to get some nice, producers or somebody on board to help you guys get that, live. That would be amazing, isn't it?
Hopefully, yeah.
Did she tell you how many roughly people would be in that movie?
Well, there's gonna be obviously girlfriend, art critic. We're gonna have we already have a cast and crew.
All right.
We have makeup artists, costume designers, some crew, some actors.
Just need to get some cash for the extravaganza parties, yeah?
Exactly.
It's like, what was the point of the movie? Well, we just really wanted to party hard in
Yes.
London. That's pretty much it,
That's what you do in London. You party hard. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
well, I mean, yeah, that is a pretty party hard city, isn't it? That's exciting.
You would watch it, yeah?
I would watch it, of course. Get me some nice sofa and a nice popcorn. I'll be there.
Of course, man.
Taking pictures of you guys, all nice and lovely. Did you have any other projects happening with you at the moment now?
I've been doing quite a lot of modeling work,
Right.
actually, which is out of my comfort zone.
Really?
Because I'm an actor, I'm not really a model. I did this short film, and the director, he has a lot of apprentices, and his apprentices are doing photo shoots, modeling. So he's just throwing me out to all these guys, and then they're using me for all this stuff.
What sort of stuff is it?
Well, it's for fashion channels, men's fashion, photo shoots, just when they need models. And that director's actually, I forgot to tell you, the 12th of August is going to be my first scene for a feature film.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm shooting a film.
Oh my God.
Got a part, yeah.
Big one.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
roughly, yeah, I'm 10 scenes or something. So,
oh, okay. Well done.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that's all been confirmed and everything.
Yeah, I'm going
Wow.
to shoot a feature film, yeah.
How long is that going to go for? Well, the shooting actually itself.
I'm probably going to be on it starts the 12th of August, and then maybe for 2 weeks or something.
Right.
Just my scenes, yeah.
Is that in London or somewhere else?
In London.
Okay,
yeah.
that's nice. And have you got your papers and the lines that you need to tell?
I got the lines, I just need to learn them.
Oh, wow.
That's,
Is it quite a few?
It's quite a few. It's
Right.
quite a few, but that's what's nice. If I didn't have any lines, I'd be like, what?
So, okay, that leads me to the probably next question is exactly that. Do you like receiving the guidance and the lines that you need to learn by heart? Or would you rather go and do the kind of, inspo on the spot?
That's such a good question. That's such a good question.
So personal favorite in this case?
Personal favorite. I love improvising, man.
Right.
I love ad-libbing. The thing is, you gotta have some lines. because the lines are there for a reason. What's my favorite director, Martin Scorsese, what he's doing, have you seen The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes.
A film. So what he would do, they would improvise all day, like improvise, and then take it back to the lines. Because when you improvise, you get like everything that's written between the lines that comes out when you improvise, because you're just gonna say it. So it can be good and bad. Some people like just to reach the end goal, and then however you do it, it's gonna be cool. And some directors want you to follow the lines like straight. I would love a good mix, personally. I love ad-libbing, like adding small comments, like to throw the other actor off, or like get a reaction from him.
What sort of reaction do you usually get?
Well, usually that depends. If he's good at ad-libbing back, then it just becomes banter. Then it becomes fun, because then it's like a challenge, or like you keep on pushing each other. Like, oh, he's trying to say this, I'm trying to say this now. Because acting essentially is all about affecting each other and really listening, and then just reacting to what's being said. And if you know the lines by heart, sometimes you tend to not really listen to what the person is saying, because you know what he's trying to say. But if you ad-lib or improvise, you really have to listen and answer to what he's saying.
Yeah.
So it becomes really real.
But then if, for example, you have the lines already, would that not give you that extra time to think of your expressions on your face, like feelings, put them out there more? Like, would that not be the case?
Well, you can say that, but there's different techniques in acting. The one I'm studying right now, I'm studying with a really great guy, actually. Shout out to Lee Lomas. Shout out.
We'll put it out in the link later, guys.
He's working with Mamet and Meisner. And that's all about listening to each other and affect each other. So if I are doing a scene right now, and my goal is to make you cry in the scene, I'm gonna make Polina cry. I'm not gonna make your character cry. I'll make you cry like Freddie will make you cry, you know? And right now, while I'm talking, you're like nodding your head. You're showing that you understand what I'm saying. That's literally all what it is.
Okay.
Just listen and answer to each other. And each scene is going to be different. If you try and do this, if you try and affect the person, like really be real, and you don't plan anything, but you're just going to do that, then each scene you're going to have the same like outcome, but it's going to be different ways of getting it.
Right. So obviously the more ways you have, the better, in a way, kind of actor you are, isn't it?
Yeah, you can play around with it. Like if, for example, if my goal is to make you cry, I can do it in different ways. I can either intimidate you, or I can try and be on your side, or make you feel small, or crumple as a person. Like there's so many ways of achieving your goal.
Right. But what about as an actor yourself? How do you work on getting those feelings out of you and getting better at this? Is it like you sitting in front of the mirror, or do you watch other, let's say, YouTubers and actors doing this and then kind of going home and imitating all of this? Like, how does that process work for yourself?
My process of doing it is
if you
really,
have one.
I do have like it varies though, but if I have to be, one of my characters that I did in a short film recently, he had a very sad story. He lost his parents. He was really struggling, right? And my prep for that scene, I was on the set on the day. I was in the bathroom, just like emotionally prepping myself for this. And I ended up like with tears in my eyes, crying in this bathroom on this set of the film, right? Then you go out and you do the scene and you don't actually cry. You're almost like on the verge of it, but because of your emotional prep, that's when I was really upset and like got this emotion out in myself. And I cried in the bathroom, and then I go out on the set, and then you have those feelings with you when you do it.
Right.
So for me, it's all about finding something to relate to. Like if I really need to feel this character's pain, like, but his pain, if he lost his parents, I haven't lost my parents, so I can't relate to that part.
So what do you go, like, where do you go for that sort of feeling then?
I'll try and match something that will make me, give me the same feeling of sadness, you know, something I've experienced in my life that's gonna really tear me down or make me feel low or upset. And then you gotta use that feeling while you say do your thing.
I can imagine it's quite difficult.
It is. That's why emotional prep is very important.
I mean, I don't even understand how can you even prep for something like this. Like, I mean, fair enough, like being happy in front of the camera, talking from personal experience. I've done a couple of YouTube videos and we talked about it before. And being happy is kind of, positive emotion, you go there straight away. But
Yeah.
anything else, you just don't even know how to make it believable, because you in your head think, oh yeah, that's, I'm doing an amazing job, haven't I? And then I'm looking at that footage and I'm just going, Jesus, that just does not make any sense whatsoever. So I was struggling to find those memories or, ideas, even all the feeling spots where to go to in order to get that expression on my face. So for me, straight away in my head, actors, YouTubers, people who have to perform went from here to like that level straight away. Because I still think it's almost, you have to have a talent to be able to do that on almost every occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to be able to recall some emotions, some memories, just trying to get it out in you. And each actor is different. Some people, they do the method where they literally become that character and they live and breathe that character. If they go to a restaurant or talk with their friends, they're going to be this character like for those 2 months that they're shooting the film. That's a very extreme way of doing it. It
is. It wasn't it Joker in the last Batman
Heath
movie?
Ledger, yeah.
Heath Ledger, did that.
He locked himself in a motel for 6 weeks and just was in that room practicing. And
it was an amazing performance, but at what cost?
Yeah, it can fuck you up. It can.
It can, yeah. But do you feel like sometimes your emotions get you to the point where you're struggling yourself? Like, has that ever been the case? Did you feel like maybe you pushed yourself too much? Or perhaps you set yourself some sort of boundaries before you go to that feeling, knowing that when you're going to reach X level, you need to stop? How does that usually work?
That's actually, I was told that's why people are studying acting. You can be an actor. Jan over there can be an actor. Like, everyone can do it. But the hard part is to control yourself and control your feelings. Because if let's say you reach that point, when do you stop? And when do you realize, I'm just playing right now, I'm just acting? This is a part. This is not me. This is something I'm drawing from my life, but I'm keeping it for this character. And when the day is over, I'm not going to be sad anymore. I'm not going to feel these emotions like when the director yells cut. That's what you need to learn as an actor, as a person. So studying acting is all about learning to control those feelings, those emotions. I haven't studied a lot, so.
No, but I mean, like, I would guess, like, if we had this conversation 3 years ago, I'd be like, oh, come on. But like, even when me being all scampy and 100% energetic on YouTube videos and being a bit silly, like that was kind of my character. At some point, it did feel like it was all going into my everyday life. And it's not like it was a bad thing, but at some point I had to catch myself, oh, Polina, you're not in front of the camera right now. Yeah. You don't have to go all, it's entertainment, 100% energized and jazz hands situation, which, can be quite a bit overwhelming every now and again.
So gotta be careful.
Gotta be careful. That is true.
Yeah, even just where I'm studying right now, I did a scene with this girl. It was really intense. Like, we really hated each other in the scene. And it took me like a good 10, 20 minutes before I was calmed down. Like, even after the scene, it's cut and we're all friends again, but you're still like, fuck you. Like,
yeah,
you have those emotions and you need to learn to control that and be professional about it.
But what happens when, sometimes you have those scenes where you just give yourself 100% and then they go cut and then they go once again? What happens then?
When the what?
When they cut, like, let's say you've done the scene and all fantastic and everything, but then they go like, we have to go it one more time. Just, something didn't quite go. How do you pull yourself back again into that level?
That's all about being professional. That's how you see like the big movie stars. That's what they do. And that's what I'm training with right now. We did that scene maybe like 3-4 times where literally pushing each other, shoving, yelling, street light. You do it, cut, you get maybe like 30 seconds, let's go again. And then you just try to do it. And you got to find that place in you to just go and bring it. I know acting is like, I feel blessed every time I'm acting. And
right.
People should never complain about it. Like, always told this is a dream job. And like, but it is tough as well, like it's really being on a set, a movie set, and then you're chatting with the cast, the crew, everyone is enjoying themselves. And then you're told, okay, your scene is up, go now. And then you have to be really emotional and pour your heart out in front of this girl, or you have a fight with your best friend and you just have to switch on so fast. And that's what that's what the professionals do, like you got to be able to do that in those circumstances.
And have you, again, talking from my experience, when I was doing YouTube, even like an hour in front of the camera, after that I felt exhausted, like wiped out. sleepy, almost like you don't want to cry, but you just don't have any energy whatsoever to give out. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's actually what surprised me when I started acting. I didn't realize how tiring it was, because I thought like, oh, you're in front of the camera, you're having fun, but it really gets to you, and it's exhausting because you're on. As soon as you're acting or as a camera, you're doing YouTube, anything, you're on it.
Yeah.
And it is exhausting, but then you just gotta allow yourself to rest. You gotta allow yourself to get those hours of sleep and then try and do it again.
Right.
One short film, we had to wake up at like 6 a.m, go through a hike in the forest, carry all the gear, everything, set it up, shoot all day, go back, wake up 6 o'clock next morning. Like it's hard work making a film.
It is very hard work, yeah.
But then you just gotta remember, like, why am I doing this? I love this.
Right, okay.
And even no matter how tired I am, I like fall asleep smiling, you know, because I love doing it. And that's really what should be driving you, is your love for doing it. With your Top With channel, the YouTube, or the challenges, pictures you guys do, it's tough as well. I can imagine you guys, you shoot so much every day.
Yeah.
But you do it because you love it, right?
Yeah.
And that's really what drives the work. And that's what's going to make it happen for you as well.
So, thank you. But did you always know that you want to be an actor?
It's a funny story, actually. So I'm from Denmark.
Yeah.
And I've always loved film.
Right.
You know how when you watch a film and you disappear for an hour and a half? Like, no matter what you're going through in your life, if you watch that film, you're in a different universe. It can either make you happy, it can make you cry, it can make you think about life. Like, I've made so many life decisions based on a film that I just watched, which might not be clever, but like I started a lot of things from films. So I've always been interested. I've always find it extremely fascinating how film or theater, any performance can change how people view things. Mm-hmm. Even like big crises, like The Big Short, when they're talking about the American crack, and like film can really put a spot on society's problems, and it can actually make people think about it. So I've always been really interested. But in Denmark, it's a bit different to London. In London, if I say I want to be an actor, people, they're like, oh, let me help you out. You want to be an actor? Let me show you this. In Denmark, people are like, okay, but what do you really want to do?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
is it not kind of well received profession?
Unless you're like really successful from the moment you do it, people are not gonna be like
supportive.
Well, not really. In my case, no. And what I've experienced from my friends, not really, no. So,
but you have some really amazing actors coming from Denmark, isn't it? Some really great ones. So surprised to see that it's still not perceived as a...
I think Denmark is just so much in a bubble. It's like you do your school, you go to uni, you get a family, you live together. Like
have a fish lake next door,
exactly.
do barbecuing, and that's it.
So yeah, I finished my my high school, and I went on to do college. I studied globalization, international business, and all that stuff for 3 years.
You?
Yeah. you won't imagine, right?
No, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
No, not in a bad way.
No, yeah. Oh, I got some brains on me. I'm all right. But then every time we got a chance, we would make a film. Oh. Like, if people were writing like an essay, we would make a short film for that project. Or like we would always do something with film or play around with it, the camera. And it's funny, like I was back home in Denmark a few weeks ago, and my mom, she showed me, it's like we have this first yearbook from when I started college. We did interviews to each other, and I had written down, it's like biggest dream to become an actor. And I wrote that like so many years ago now.
Wow.
And it's pretty funny to see, okay, I was studying some business stuff, but I was still thinking about acting all the time.
That is crazy, actually, isn't it?
Yeah. So then I decided to move to London, and I was like, okay, let me give this a try. So I booked a short course in like quite a good school about acting, like just acting for beginners. I gotta say, that week I've never been more happy in my life up until that week, because I did acting.
Why so? Was it because of the people in the room? Was it because you just realized that you belong to someone? Yeah,
it just felt right. Like everything that we did, the scenes, like the first time I proper acted in front of someone and I got guidance, and like I just loved it. We did some improv, and it just felt right.
Right.
And I just felt so happy when I walked home.
Right.
That's when I realized, okay, I might give this a shot, because if it makes me this happy, then I have to try.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I've just been working on it since then. Yeah.
No, that's great. But did you like perform when you were small as well? Did you like go to like any performance classes or like dancing school? I don't know. What you guys do in Denmark?
Denmark is a weird country. No, it's a great country.
It is a great country.
No, I did the classic like theater plays in school. You know, like when you perform for the whole school like once a year. Yeah. And I had one of the lead roles in that, and people were like, "Oh, damn, he's quite good at that." But I was just a kid, so I was like, everyone is good at that when they're a kid. You know?
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, like I really loved it, and I've always been interested. So it's just a matter of time before I got the guts to try and do it.
No, absolutely. But well done for pursuing this. London is a big city. I mean, it's a city of opportunities, but it's also, you know, a dream breaker city as well. So it's just, it's, you know, you just need to see on which side you're going to end up, isn't it?
It is a big city, but that's what I love. Where I work part-time in Six and Sushi, I was in a bar one time having some drinks. You know me, I like to have a good drink. And I was meeting this guy, and we just started chatting, talking, how's it going? And we really vibed. Like, we really had a good vibe. Turns out he's the drummer for Just Lynn, the band. And one of his best mates is an acting agent. And at this point, I wasn't confident enough. So I was just saying like, oh, I'm trying to be an actor. That's what I told him. And he was like, what do you mean trying? If you do something, you gotta do something. You gotta grind and hustle and work for it. And then the next week I had a meeting with his agent.
Oh, wow.
Setting me up with like advice about the industry. I still talk to him like about what's going on. It just shows like, if you have a good vibe and if you're kind to people, like things are gonna happen, especially over here.
I mean, yeah, talking from my experience, and I guess Jan will join me on that one. When we work with you, which we, you know, did quite a few times on a photography set, you know, just doing our, you know, best, capturing the best of you, you know, wandering around the city and doing some different stuff. Well, I mean, so we will love working with you not purely, but just one of the main reasons is it's always such a good positive vibe. And it's not necessarily even the skill, it's more like the mindset you come up to those photo shoots and how you're always trying to give your all. And even though sometimes we all get distracted, but you just always stay true to the profession and you just carry on till the very last minute, you know. And you can see that as soon as we say we're all done, everyone's just like, you know, relaxes. It's just like, yeah, finally, you know, like now I can have a pint of beer or whatever, just kind of chill for a little bit, because that's how I feel after every photo shoot. I'm just like, oh my God, I gave it all. Now I just need to like chill, man.
Treat yourself.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. Otherwise, you're gonna burn before anything. So thank you for being all this like positive sunshine on our photo sets.
No, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, but I also wanted to talk to you about. You said that you obviously prefer acting more to modeling, but you still do modeling, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and why so?
I think it's just because acting, when you're doing that, it's driven by emotions and intentions and what you want to achieve in a scene. What is your objective? And you're just trying to achieve that no matter how you do it. And it doesn't matter how you look or how you feel, like nothing can really be wrong when you act. And I feel like that's kind of my safe spot. Like, you just gotta go for it. And I've learned that stepping over your boundaries, like your comfort zone, is the best thing you can do in life, no matter if it's acting or doing what you love or like quitting your job or whatever it is. Like, that's the best thing you can do. And that's what I love about acting. But with modeling, I gotta say, I haven't gotten out of my comfort zone yet, because I'm so used to talking in front of the camera now, or like having a scene. But when I'm modeling, I'm not sure that I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, I feel like it needs to be not perfect, but that's what I love about you guys, that you try and capture those moments where it's not fake or it's not set up or it's not posy. You just capture the moment, which I really love, because that makes it a little bit more natural. But I feel like I'm still like, I'm a little bit out on deep water when I'm modeling. Like, I don't have a technique, or I don't have a lot of experience. So I'm just like, what's going on? So I think it's just about like experience, that I don't have a lot of experience in it. So,
oh well, it's fair to say. I personally think maybe when you are in front of the camera, it's not like you have like a one still image to explain the whole character. You can just talk for 5 minutes and, you know, explain your character and work into that character. Whereas when you are in front of the camera, you almost, you know, within that 1 second, one shot is happening and you kind of need to perhaps maybe give the whole expression of what you're trying to portray in that one still picture.
It's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure, but we're trying to always think about it like it's a digital copy. It's not like, you know, 40 years ago it was film or even 20 years ago. It's a digital copy. If it didn't work out tonight, then you can always have tomorrow to come in and try again.
True.
So that's the best way of thinking, because if you're going to start putting pressure on yourself, that's when it all goes down, you know. That's at least what it goes to me.
It's all about, I don't want to let people down, you know. I don't want to like create a bad picture or something.
But I think that's also like managing the expectations, isn't it? Because when we like start working with clients and we tell them like we're going to produce those kind of pictures, but more often than not, we've never done something like this. It's not like I've done bunting in Cambridge 300 times and can tell them straight away that's what's going to happen. I just kind of get, this is the idea, this is the vision. We have people that kind of people are going to be modeling for this and we believe in them and this is what we try to portray. But obviously you need to understand that there is, you know, it's an art. You can't just, you know, it's not like putting a sofa together. It's a little bit different, isn't it?
A little bit, not from IKEA, yeah.
No. I mean, yeah, that's a different story, isn't it? Yeah. You pay less with your money, but you pay more with your emotions for sure.
Okay, man.
No, but that's true, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think like what I love most if it's natural, and if you're, I don't know, for me personally, directors or photographers, if they try and be like, literally make you into a statue and like shape you and do this and do that, that's what makes it unnatural. Then you get uncomfortable. So it's all about keeping that.
Would you say it's all about the trust?
Trust to each other. I trust you guys. Like when we did, by the way, we did a insane shoot in Cambridge. I don't know if we're going to talk about that, but
you can.
That was pretty fun. But like, yeah, all about trusting each other. I trust that you guys trust me. And even though if I don't feel like I'm on point or like, I just trust that you guys are going to get that out of me and like we're going to work with each other to make it happen. So it's all about teamwork as well.
Definitely is. So what was your personal kind of favorite project you worked on so far and why so?
My favorite personal project.
It can be not personal, but just whatever you worked on recently
Okay, can I make the top 3?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. The first one, no, one of them in the top 3 is the one I did with Jan. Yeah. Because I really like to express myself. That's the first time I've written like my own thing. And we just, like I said, it was natural. And we literally just sat right over here and just improvised with it, played with it. Felt like whatever I say right now is cool and he's cool with it. So we did like a spot on how it is to be an actor or like a person in this world and some motivational things and struggles or like what people can expect. So we did like a whole spot on that and we shot some B-roll for it. And that's a really cool project because it was very close to me. Like it was very personal because I've been talking from my heart about my experiences. Second one, the short film we did in Lake District because I co-produced it. So it was my first time doing anything like that. Literally from all the gear, the people around it, bringing them together, renting a car, driving here and with the car full of people and gear and just making it happen in like 3 days, making it happen, shooting a film.
That was crazy.
It was really
Must
crazy.
Have been intense as well.
Super intense.
So were you on both sides of the camera or just on one side of the camera?
Both sides.
Oh wow! So you're co-producing and also acting.
Yeah, I had one of the lead roles.
Right.
Me and this girl.
So, if you were to do it again, what would you do differently?
What I would do different?
Would you still try to do both kind of positions?
Well, actually, that's what I'm trying to do right now. I would be part of the creative side. I wouldn't do the paperwork, man. I would leave that to the professionals. Right. So I love being behind the camera. I never was behind the camera like in the past, but now that I've been on more sets and doing more projects, it's so interesting. I have no idea what's going on with the camera, but I just love watching the people work with it. Like when you guys work with the camera, when this whole setup, like I just love looking at how it looks and how you work with it. And because it's really like, it's a whole education.
Absolutely.
And I really respect those people because, wow, man, it's technical. And I can do great as an actor. I can do Leonardo DiCaprio performances. But if the cameraman or like the editor or the soundtrack and the sound guy, if that's not on point, then no one's going to watch it.
Yeah,
if you're watching a YouTube film and the sound is off, you're going to switch it off straight away, like if the sound is bad.
The level is so high right now, isn't it?
So many different components coming together to make a good film or a good photo shoot, or like it's literally the actor is like the least thing, you know. So I find it really interesting.
But I wouldn't say so though. I think every single one of them is like, you
you can't miss one, then it falls apart.
Yeah, nothing will work if you just miss one. That's simple as that, isn't it? So you will probably definitely be then on more creative side and leave the whole kind of
the producing, like proper producing, to the guys who know what they're doing, and I'll be maybe giving more like assistant in the directing and acting, and just bringing the team together. That's what I love. I love bringing people together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're a very friendly guy. And what's the last number 3 project?
Number 3 is actually it's a showcase I'm doing. So I've been studying for the last few months, really into it. It's making me realize who I am as an actor, as a person. It's been really profound to do this acting class, and now it's all escalating, like in the showcase on Thursday.
So what you guys need to showcase then? Do you choose your own piece or?
Yeah, so we've been doing. It's been really intense because we've been doing like 2 scripts a week. So I've had to learn 2 scripts every week. So
that is a lot.
I've learned how to do that as well. Yeah, you should be able to learn like 2 pages in 15 minutes as an actor. That's what my teacher says anyway.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Who is he?
Well, that's Lee Lomas. He's a tough guy, but
I can do 2 sentences in 15 minutes. That's how far my brain goes.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect, you know?
True that.
So yeah, we've been practicing. And then the last month and a half, we got together. He chose 2 partners for each. So I'm with 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have 2 scenes. And then we're gonna showcase it on the theater here in Cambridge Circus. Central London, a theater. We're gonna showcase it.
Oh wow! What, this Thursday already?
This Thursday, yeah.
And the pieces were they written by him or by yourself, guys, or you just take them from?
We took them, like some people chose from a film or a play. Some people were writing their own. Some people were doing something he did.
And how long is each showcase?
So it's 3 classes, and I'm in 1 class, and each couple like they have 5 minutes.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm doing 2 scenes of 5 minutes. So it's not a lot, but it's just to showcase yourself. There's going to be a lot of industry people, friends, agents. Yeah. So
what's your favorite kind of genre in performing then as an actor?
My favorite kind of genre. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, some good questions here. My favorite, I like being cheeky and boyish.
Like a Brad Pitt style?
Kind of, like, but also I love being, I don't know, this is gonna sound wrong, but I love being like angry. I love when it gets intense and you get to that point where a scene escalates in like a confrontation or frustrations or something like that. Not from the get-go where you're like just yelling at each other, but if it has a nice pace, and if it ends up escalating in the end, that's really cool because you can see it's like a roller coaster, like back and forth and back and forth.
You would like to see that?
Yeah.
That can be in those kind of scenes.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to be there on Thursday, you're going to see that.
I might actually, you never know.
But yeah, no, I love like a good, I would say not too drama, but like the drama, action stuff.
Well, it kind of reminds me a little bit, like Leonardo DiCaprio in Django when he like just crushed that skull and it was all improv either way. Yeah. And the blood started coming his way. Like it was just like, I was like, how do you even write something like this? How do you even script something like this?
That's a crazy story.
That was a crazy story. And I was just like, how did he even, he just went for it. And
do you know what happened? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he smashed the glass and he started bleeding and everyone was looking like, what? Like this set.
And he was just carrying on.
He's just carrying on. That's crazy.
That was crazy. And thank God that director just kind of kept rolling out. Because otherwise, sometimes people go like, oh my God. And it's just like, this is the most brilliant moment kind of would have been wasted for nothing, isn't it?
So that's what I love about improv. Like when you improv, it's real because you say what you feel. And that's mostly like the best moments, they get captured when the actors, they start to improvise.
Right.
When something goes, not wrong, but when something goes like not according to the plan, it's usually the best moments.
But in your own kind of experience, do you feel like there's a lot of people who like to improvise, or would they rather kind of follow this, not the strict kind of, script, but something like this?
I think just even in my class, I think it's like so different. It depends on people's experience, if they have good or bad experiences with it, and also if they're kind of new to the game. Right now I'm working with this young actress, and she just started acting, and she's following like the lines, like when she's talking about it, she's like, yeah, I'm following these lines, and she would never go off book.
Right.
And that's something I would never do in the beginning either. I'd never went off book. But now, if you feel like it, or like if the other actor wants to, if the director wants to, it's always a conversation. Am I allowed to do a little bit of ad-libbing? Would it make sense? Like, and then if you get a green light, then just try and go for it.
Do the usually directors are quite happy with this?
It depends on the director as well. It depends on the director. The one I did the short film with, and the director I'm doing the feature film with, he loves when I ad-lib. Like, but it has to be good. You can't ad-lib and then say something that doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
If you make it fun, or like if you make it real, then I would say go for it. But a lot of actors say they like to keep it on book, which is good as well. It's all about like, because they want to be professional and they don't want to seem like they don't like the lines.
Oh, is that what it seems like when you don't follow them?
Yeah, but also like if a writer, like, I don't know how they take it, but I could imagine he would be like, oh, why are you changing my lines? Because if he's writing something, there's a purpose with it being there. And you can also ad-lib too much. You can also change too much of like the scene if you ad-lib too much.
Yeah, I suppose. But like now you got your lines for something you're going to be shooting on 12th of August, starting.
Yeah.
Did it give you any like backstory to the character you're playing? How do they usually, or is it just lines, or do you have them mixed in the lines as well? Like what they expect the character to do, or how to behave, or is it absolutely up to you to decide now how you're going to build that?
I think it's all a conversation. You can come in with so I got my lines. I don't have the full script. I got my scenes. I would love to have the full script, because then I could like put it in a relation to something, but I just have my lines. But then I'm obviously, for my sake, I'm gonna go and talk to the director for sure. And hey, and I'm quite close with the director, so I'm gonna talk to him. Hey, what is my relation here? I have these ideas. I like to bring my own ideas to the table. And hey, I think this dude, he's like this, or this is how he would behave like this. And then it's all about, he will say, no, that's not how he is. Or he'll be like, yeah. And then you talk about it and you kind of create it together. So yeah, I like to have a conversation about it. But it depends, man. It's so different to the director.
Yeah.
For example, the short film I did with Sandy, or the one she's writing, the one I told you about that we're gonna sell. I feel like I know that character so good already, because I've been creating that character from the start.
Right.
So it depends how much you're in the process. Sometimes you just get lines and you just say the lines, and you don't really have much of a background story. But then you gotta do that yourself,
And what do you do in this case? Like, how does the whole process for yourself then look like? Do you go and read the books, watch the movies?
I like if I get a character and if I get a part and there's not much of a background story, I gotta do it my own way. Like, what's my favorite color? Like, if I went to a restaurant, what would I eat? Where do I like to go on vacation? What does the walls look like in my summer house? Or, all these little details help create the character. And the audience, if you do a play or something, the audience will never know all these things about your character, but because you did this, that's gonna show on stage. It's gonna give that extra edge, because you know your character so well. There's something called hot seating, which I really like. You sit in a circle, and your colleagues, they just ask you all these questions, like, what's your favorite color? If you're an animal, which animal would you be? Like, all these weird questions, and then you just gotta answer from your character's point of view. Yeah, so if you don't have much of a backstory, create your own. Who is this person for you? Yeah,
that's great. Actually, I mean, I knew that's the case, but I just didn't know to what extent that kind of is
some
taken
people go
to.
crazy with it.
I can imagine. And some people, like, I definitely lack imagination. I would struggle with that. Like, I was that kind of kid in the school when, our teacher would put like a doll in front of you and would be like, okay, you now need to write a descriptive essay for like, let's say 2 pages. My desk, person who was sitting next to me would just go nuts and write like 4 pages, and she would just like, I'm struggling to put it down to 2, and I will be sitting there with half page full saying like, this is this height of the doll and it has 2 big eyes and she has really weird hands, and that's it, like, I mean, I'll be struggling to push anything out, and then my teacher would be like, well, let your imagination loose, what that kind of doll can do, where can she, could she leave? And I just couldn't understand what she wants from me. I was just like, what do you mean you want me to imagine things? Like, in my head, it would all kind of be just random dots, not complete. Like, I couldn't even connect them together. So I was always struggling with that. So in a way, amazing that you can go with so little information back home or wherever you're going and create such an, like, almost like an entire world built in for this character.
Yeah, it's everything. It's about his movements. That's what I'm working with at the moment with this class as well. You have different casting brackets, is what we call it. So if I'm playing a character who's like boyish, charming, kind of Spider-Man, then all my movements are gonna define this character. Like if I sit down on the chair, I know how I'm gonna sit. If I'm talking to you right now, my body language is gonna be in a different way. If I'm playing a high status, arrogant character, more like Michael Shelby from Peaky Blinders, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit like on a 90 degrees on the chair. I'm not gonna lean forward. I'm gonna be high state. Like everything defines the character, the movements, the way you talk, the way I look at you, how I'm gonna provoke you. Like, yeah.
But do you guys do like some sort of, I would imagine, I don't know, the class would be like, we sit down and they go like, let's now take this character and break him down to what he's doing, how he's talking, and all those kind of bits. Do you guys do something like this?
Well, that's really what's nice about the class, because that's all of that is already in you. That's natural for you if you have your bracket. So it's all about having maybe 4 or 5 different styles of bracket. If I go into an audition and I read, let's say I go into an audition, I get a script. Immediately I find out, okay, what is my objective in this script? What I want to achieve? Okay, this objective suits my boyish, charming bracket. Then I know who that guy is.
Right.
My movements, the way I talk, his gestures, I already know. So it's so natural, just fall into light. And then it's there, like automatically.
It's like a Iron Man suit.
Yeah, it's like an Iron Man suit. You fall into it and then you got that character. Then you got the character down. So what we're working with is really saving you a lot of time from analyzing all this, because you already know it.
Right.
And if the script will suit more of the arrogant guy, you just fall into that guy and you know all of his movements and how he is and analyze. So you don't break it down in that way, because you just fall into it. You already know. But that's what we're practicing. Because right now I'm finding like those small details. How do I talk? How do I say it? Like this. It's all about finding that bracket and then put yourself into it. The lines are essentially just lines on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
But you take them up from the paper and then you make this character.
Right.
So that's what I said before. If I'm flirting with you, I'm going to flirt with you like Freddie would flirt with Polina. And then that's how the character gets created.
Right. That's interesting. When the audition happens, do you usually can you see the previous contestants or the guys who are in the room, or is it usually just like closed off room and you guys come in and come out?
Usually, well, it depends in this modern day and age, it's a lot of self-tapes.
Oh, right.
So you get to do a lot of the work home. So you just stand by a white wall. If you have a good friend, they're going to help you, and then you're going to do a self-tape. I've been to a few auditions where there were like 2 or 3 other dudes, and then we're waiting outside, and then you walk into this room and there's sitting 2 people behind the desk. Like you see in the films, 2 people behind the desk, there's a chair in front of you. You sit down and then they ask you questions, you do the scene, and then they might ask you to do some improv or something that the character would do, and then you go out.
How do you prepare yourself for something like that? How do you deal with nerves? Because I'm sure you are nervous at a certain point either way. How do you let your nerves not take over you?
That's actually something I've been thinking a lot about that, because I tend, if something is important to me, I tend to get nervous. Because I want to do good. I'm sure you have that feeling. Right? If something is important, you get nervous, excited. I want to do good. And how do you make those feelings not overcome you? Like, how can you stop that? I think it's just accepting it. Like, what do I give a fuck about and what do I not give a fuck about? literally, I read this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's really helpful.
we'll love it.
Yeah, you read it, yeah?
Yeah. It was my audio. I've written it.
Yeah.
Not written, I've read it.
Yeah.
I've listened to it numerous amount of times. It's great.
Yeah, so it's literally, it's just boiling it down. Okay, this is very important to me, but if I do a bad performance or they don't get me, that doesn't define who I am. That doesn't mean that I'm a bad actor. I don't need the validation from anyone except like the people I look up to, you know, like my teacher or my mom, or like, you know, those people that mean a lot to you. Like, those are important, talking to them. I always listen to advice, what they think. But walking into an audition, I think you just gotta own it, you know, you just gotta.
Was there any moments where you didn't own it?
Well, a lot of moments, but then you just fake it till you make it. That's
true.
what I've been
How
doing.
did it go? Amazingly, I think I got the part.
Yeah, like when they ask you something, you have no idea what the question is about. You just talk. you just try and do it, and that's what it is. Auditioning is scary. I still think it's scary. Even doing a self tape, like you think so much about it, like every detail, and you analyze it. And if they like you, they like you, and if they don't like you, they don't like you.
Fair enough.
That's what acting like. There can be 10 people in a room. 9 of them will love you, 1 will hate you, or the other way around.
Yeah.
And that one dude might be the one who's actually casting you, or that one dude might be the one who's not casting you.
Yeah, I had a really good friend. I'm not sure if you met her, Shala. She's a dancer, and she's now actually doing quite well in English dancing scene. And she said to me every single time she goes to audition, no, it's just someone's opinion.
Yeah.
So again, it doesn't validate you, or it doesn't, identify who you are. It's just someone's opinion. You have to take it on board and you have to keep going. Simple as that. Which, is harsh. Because as you said, the more you care about the project, the more pressure you put on yourself.
Yeah, and you can really beat yourself up on it.
You can. And sometimes it even gets to this point where you start overanalyzing, and it's almost like paralyzing you of moving forward. So it's almost like you're trying to get it to perfection, but you're not really even reaching that simple level of actually doing something. So like when we started, photography and all this kind of social media stuff at the very beginning, we always looked up to those really big YouTubers, really big social media guys. And I was just like, oh my God, me and them, just completely two different things. And then what happens is you just kind of stuck in this mindset and you never move forward. You just kind of paralyzed of movement and you don't put anything out. You don't grow. You just keep comparing and that's it. And that's the worst.
Yeah.
So
everybody started from somewhere,
Yeah.
You got to think about that. Everybody started from the bottom. Everyone started in the garage doing something or with their friends. And then slowly it's happening.
But like, let's say when you have sometimes those like rough days, because I'm sure we all have them, what's something that kind of lifts your mood up and kind of keeps you going? Or like, is there anything you do to kind of shake it off?
Rough days.
Oh, what are you talking about, Polina?
I don't have rough days.
Every day is amazing.
No, I think like I spoke about earlier, just that realizing that you love what you do. And I think I realized that not in a young age, because I'm like 21, but sorry. But like when you get to that point where you realize no matter what happens, I still love doing this. You might not like it. You might be frustrated, upset, have a rough day, feel like shit. But at the end of the day, you're still like, man, I love it. And if I had that opportunity, if I got the part, I would be so stoked and I would love to do this right now. So just pick yourself up and get that part or get that next part because you love it. And yeah, I just wake up, like it's literally what I think about the first thing in the morning. I think about acting or my projects. And
do you like do those like funny scenes like you see in the movies, like, you're in a bathroom singing to the,
every day, man, every day.
to the shampoo box and being like, oh my God, I'm like, next, I don't know.
If I'm rehearsing like a scene in the shower and I start yelling, people lock the door, like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, just doing a scene, sorry.
I'd love to hear that, to be honest.
No, you don't, trust me.
Not really. Nobody's appreciative for that.
Like when I kick them upstairs because I'm doing a self-tape in the living room for like 2 hours.
Oh gosh.
And they have to be upstairs and listen to it, yeah.
They're not really happy about that.
Nah, but they're supportive. And supportive friends, that's really like what can help you as well.
Yeah.
If you feel down or if you think like, I did bad tonight on the class or I don't like myself in the scene, or like having supportive friends, like they might say, yeah, you probably didn't do too good, but we still love you, or
yeah,
we still believe in you. And
I think Danish people in general are quite direct, aren't they?
very direct.
Very direct. I think
Super.
I would be used to that if I was to come from Estonia again directly, because Estonian people just don't have any time to sugarcoat it. They're just like, this is what it is, deal with that.
Yeah.
Sometimes a bit too direct.
We're quite blunt when we say things, like we just say it how it is. But I love that. I love also getting criticism, get it straight to the point.
Yeah.
But also get like, what do you need to work with? Okay, I'll go do it. Come back better.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like you were given not like a mixed direction, but almost like a criticism, but it's not like a constructive criticism. It's almost like just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, sometimes that happens when they say something because they have the idea shaped in their head of how you're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Or like they have the whole scene planned out, who you are and what you're gonna do right now.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, they're just gonna try and put it down on your heads.
Right.
But I think you just gotta. I always listen because I'm new in the game, and I'm literally my education came from being on set. I learned from doing projects, talking with other actors, literally from experiences how my education came. So I always try and listen.
Right.
And even though it might not make sense, I always try and be open. Always try and be like, okay, maybe ask a question. What do you think about that? Or what did you mean? Like, it's never be afraid to ask a guy, what do you mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Some people might be afraid. And in the beginning, I remember I was like, okay. I just said, yeah, do you understand what I mean? Yeah, I do. And then you're just...
It's like, I don't quite understand what happened here right now. So can we just maybe go and re-ask them again, please? Thank you.
It's not beneficial for anyone if you don't go and ask and give them what they want. So yeah, just really try and be open and take it into thought and then do it.
But like in general acting community here in London, like I can't even imagine what actors are usually coming from. Like, for example, in your class, is it just loads of different nationalities, isn't it?
Yeah.
But are they all like quite supportive of each other? How do you guys...
In my class, people are very supportive of each other. I've never stumbled upon anyone who wasn't supportive, which is, I really like that. People come from all over the world in my class, and we have like a WhatsApp group. Everyone is sending like, hey, they're searching for an audition here. I have a guy who wants to do headshots here. There's a photo shoot here. And we just meet up sometimes and practice as well. And yeah, we help each other, no? And I always thought like, oh, actors, they were competitive or...
Yeah.
But anyway, I can't help if I see a dude who looks like me, or like if we're doing the same scene, I'm like, damn,
I'm not the only one.
it's like the competitive side comes up in you. But at the end of the day, if he gets the parts, congrats on him, he was the right fit for it, and then I'll move on. Always try and help each other, I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's great as well. Like, I think it's the same in photography as well. I never kind of came across the photographer who would be just like, that's just what I do and that's how I do it. But, you know, every now and again, you still come across those kind of people. So again, it does come from the level of experience and where they are in their life and how it is. Because obviously the younger you are in terms of like your experience, the more kind of eager you are to go out and see how other people are. But if you are quite senior, you're like, I've seen it, I've done it. I don't need to, you know, go and entertain people and...
Yeah, but you never know who you meet on the way.
That is very
a senior,
true.
He might be a senior this day, but tomorrow I'll be his senior. Or like, you never know.
Yeah.
For example, that dude who gave me a meeting with the agent, he was so kind to me, and he just met me.
Wow.
And it's just all about being kind to people and trying. If you can help him, why not help him? You never know when you're gonna meet each other again, or if you're gonna have some connections, or just literally try and help another person get to where he wants. It doesn't take a lot from you.
Of course.
If it's giving out an email, a number, setting up like a meeting, it takes like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So I think just really trying to help each other and be supportive it's going to bring you a long way in this industry. Literally, it's going to bring you a long way.
Right.
In every industry. Like,
I think it is in every industry, isn't it?
And you never know who you're going to meet on your way down or way up, or, yeah.
That is extremely true. That is extremely true. But I'm just wondering, like, you will be doing so many different projects right now. Will you be doing something for yourself? So obviously those are like, you know, your friend's projects, somebody written it to you, anything personal for yourself. What would you like to do? Let's say if you had money, not the producing side, but just a little bit of money, what would you like to do?
If I had money.
I know.
The dream.
Is your dream?
Like acting wise?
I think so. Well, I mean, if that's what you want to pursue.
I would...
Don't tell me you're going to get a house and then that's it, you know.
No.
Going to move to Bahamas, that's it, thank you.
No, cool. I'm cool in Finsbury Park. I live good. No, I think I would, if I had some money on my hands, I would just try and do a really cool project where I would maybe like co-write it, like get someone to help me, of course, like maybe Sandy. write like something really cool. Get a crew in, get the nice cameras, and just made it like a really cool personal project. Something that I would love to do.
What's close to your heart?
Well, all of this, it's gonna sound a bit cheesy, but all of this coming to age stuff, or like I would love to do like a youth film. You know, all of those, not a teenage film, but like a coming of age of like, I don't know, have this like a group of guys, like a group of boys, a little bit like on the edge of the law, or a little bit like, you know how young people are.
Or skins in a way.
Yeah, like, and just like how they find themselves in life. I love to see the dynamic in like a group of people and how they're gonna explore life in different ways, how they're gonna end up. Are they gonna be together, stick together? I would love to do like
something like this.
A cool, youth
like a Friends
film.
feature.
Kind of, maybe.
Just a younger.
A little bit younger version.
Yeah.
Like a cool film, yeah. Like rough. Not too sweet.
Not too sweet.
Yeah, I like it a bit rough.
That's fine. That's fine. Whatever rocks your boat, you know. Oh, bless. But then, what else is lined up to you then?
What else is lined up?
Yeah. So you have this thing happening there. You will be having a show reel on Thursday.
Showcase on Thursday.
Showcase, apologies.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Doing the feature film. I have a lot of edits coming back actually. So the one I was co-producer on is part of the editing as well. So you gotta talk to the editor guy, you gotta talk to the soundtrack people, I have a lot of things coming back that I need to see how they look and then try and put together a nice show reel from all the new stuff.
How do you juggle all of this? Where do you find energy for that? Because it's a lot of attention. It's a lot of not just like, looking at it and being like, yeah, that's pretty, that's fine. It's a lot of decision making as well, isn't it?
It is.
And it takes a lot of, energy. So how do you deal with that? Because you also work part-time as well.
I work part-time as well.
Yeah.
That's really one of the tough things, if you're doing like closing down a restaurant and you finish at 1 in the night and then you gotta get up 8 in the morning and do something. But I think because I'm still so new, I'm still so fresh, I'm so curious. The more projects I have, the better I feel.
Right.
And even though I'm really tired, or if I got to bed late and I'm waking up and meeting you guys 7 o'clock in the morning and going to Cambridge, I'm still like, I might be tired, but I'm still hyped.
Yeah.
Because it's just so new and fresh to me. And I'm not tired of, I haven't done anything that I've been like, oh man, I didn't like that, or I can't really bother to go. Like, I just really have this hunger and this like, I want to do it so bad. So I think that's where the energy comes from. Like, I can't see myself not doing it.
Right. And with your friends, obviously, like, there are friends who are not actors and who are not a part of this kind of, in a way, media production. And no matter how much you like them, do you feel like they understand what you're doing? Or, because I'm sure you have quite a few friends from acting background who understand when you say, hey, listen, we just had this kind of scene. I was really struggling with this and that. You can actually like share your concerns, so they're going to just be like, oh, that's like, I get you, mate. Instead of just saying, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, do you have sometimes this feeling when you talk to your like normal friends who are not from media, like they're kind of struggling to connect somehow a little bit there? Or is it just all been fine so far?
You just hit like a point that I've actually been thinking a lot about lately. Because I have a lot of friends who are not doing acting or doing anything like creatively, like shooting or...
I can imagine there most probably are like an office people doing 9 to 5 as well.
Like studying or doing their own thing, and like it's so freeing to talk to other actors. It's so freeing because you have that common ground. I've been meeting up with a few people now, a few actors from my class, and starting to like, when you ever do meet up or like go for drinks, it's so nice to talk to people who understand what you're saying. And your friends, they might try and understand you, or they might be supportive, but they don't really get it.
No, they don't.
And you can get so great advice from other actors, or you share experiences.
I think even like to share your own feelings sometimes, and understanding that they've been heard and not just kind of bounced off the wall. Because I think we realized that with Jan, that all our friends now, they're like, yeah, guys, how's photography? And you kind of feel like you can only say, yeah, it's great.
good,
Or we
exactly.
just got some clients and that's it. And they're like, oh yeah, cool to hear. But they don't really understand the intricacies that go into the whole process, you know? And it's just, there's not that many people around us at the moment now who we can go and kind of almost vent to.
Yeah.
So we kind of said to ourselves, like this year, we have them, but they're all across the world. Like we have an amazing guy in Brazil, we have an amazing guy in Amsterdam who's constantly traveling around the world, you know, and then we have a couple of mates who just moved to Australia. And I was just a bit like, really? Could you not just move any further? Like, I mean, what's next? Moon, Mars?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you can call them, but it's always very nice when you can actually meet up and just have a drink and be like, oh, can I just tell you, I had this photo shoot and I just do not know where to take it from here.
Have you thought about moving in the Wales?
Yes.
Yeah.
Long story short would be yes, but we're not quite sure when and how. Like, it's almost very funny. Every single time we're trying to get clients from Europe, we always get a UK based one and vice versa. So every single time we're kind of almost like, yeah, I think we are going to be moving to Amsterdam. We get another client in London. We're just like, oh, like, I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it's always the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think I would, I mean, traveling wise, of course, we would love to go and travel everywhere. The dream, in a way, would be, in a way, ages ago when I was like really, really young. I always was drawn to, you know, those kind of TV programs where the guy would kind of travel the world and eat different foods and talk about different places. Like, I always like this. And my best friend back in Estonia was just like, oh, Polina, I can totally see you doing this. And I was just like,
I could see you doing that. Yeah.
I mean, probably now, but like when I was growing up, anything to do with TV, I was like, I don't even understand what it is. Like, I just do this math here, you know, and physics, and that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to keep me happy, you know. So it's really funny how it all went like 180, isn't it? But ideally, I think, yes, if I traveled, I don't know, we just have this like crazy dream to go to Asia and just kind of travel across night markets and just try different foods and just do a little bit of series about that. That would be amazing. But I also understand that it's going to be so much work. So much work. You know, sometimes, well, people are going like, I would love to work for the hotel and travel the world and do content for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, we consider ourselves lucky and privileged to have done it, but it's such a hard work. It's almost like you go like, I'm excited for you, mate, but at the same time, I'm just also like, oh, maybe you don't even know how much work it's going to be.
I spoke with Jan about this. You need an assistant.
Yeah.
You need someone to carry all this stuff.
Well, sometimes even that, to be honest, but sometimes even just doing the basic stuff. It's like when we're in New York, in the morning, you wake up at 6 o'clock to go and do the scouting, and then you actually do a shooting, and then you again do scouting, come home at 9 o'clock or even 6 o'clock, absolutely
That's
knackered
tough, man.
beyond belief. But you also need to cook. You also need to go to the shop and get some stuff. It's just like those kind of things where that's what almost like is a cherry on top that kills you completely.
Yeah, you don't have a clock in and clock out. You
No.
can't be like from 9 to 5. It's
No.
literally however long it takes. That's how it takes.
Absolutely. But then at the same time, I think, again, as you said, you've got to love what you're doing
Yeah.
because otherwise you wouldn't be liking it.
Yeah.
But we feel like, I feel personally, the success of the project usually lies in a trust that is between the parties involved in that project. So it's the person who maybe hired us and gave us a brief, and then we work with the models. And then, I mean, all those kind of three components need to be really kind of, you know.
You're binding them together, you know? You're
Well,
the
we
nice
are the
connectedness.
binding, but we also, like, I mean, it's again, it's about the vibe.
Yeah.
You know, like, even if the brief is kind of like, this is the lines, follow something along those lines, but they don't go like, yeah, this is the black and white. Then that's already like, okay, you guys clearly trust me what I'm doing, so I can go and do. And then that trust kind of almost transforms to you guys as a models. I hope so, at least.
No, for sure.
Yeah, because obviously, more often than not, don't get me wrong, we go to the set and we just like fake it till I make it as well.
Thanks for saying that, Polina. Jan is looking like, what are you talking about, Polina?
Too much intel, too much intel.
No, I feel like if I see you guys having fun, or if I see you guys playing around with it and not being like too locked down by what they expect or what they want you to do, if you have the freedom to do something with it, like what you want to do, usually that's how the best content comes out as well.
That is true. I think like I've just listened to another podcast the other day. It was Dave Chunk. He's like one of those crazy, Polina, Korean chefs. He's very much a little bit like Anthony Bourdain. He's very vocal about his certain things, and he really thinks that everything came from Korea. Like if you talk about dumplings in Italy, they are like Korean dumplings. They're not tortellini, like, you know, that kind of curve.
Right.
But he's funny, and he has his own podcast. And one of those writers he had recently was the guy who was writing jokes for the Saturday Night for Jimmy Fallon. So like, you know, quite a big guy. And basically he said exactly that. When you put your own jokes that you think personally are funny for yourself, and if people bite it, then that makes you the happiest person ever.
True.
Whereas you trying to read what the audience wants instead. So that's the case with us. Sometimes I feel like when we go to the photo shoot and then we've been given like those kind of guidelines we need to stick to, and sometimes we're just like, F it, I just want to shoot this because I feel personally this is going to be the best. And even though according to any guidelines, that was literally like big cross, red cross, no, never. But then send us out, and those are usually the pictures that are being picked up first.
They choose those pictures first, yeah. That's funny.
Which is again explains that I think don't go and blame people that they can't explain the brief. It's more like follow your own like intuition and heart, and think like what personally would make you happy. And then that should then translate into hopefully happiness for the client as well. So that's kind of like the idea I'm trying to get used to in my head more and more, because obviously following your own heart, just, you know, you need to have guts for this. You also need to put your vulnerability out there, because if somebody's going to shut you down, that's going to, you know, kill you twice more, because you know that it came from inside, not from following someone's brief, isn't it?
If you don't feel a little bit sick on your first day of a shoot, any shoot, then it's not for you.
But talking about it, I still feel sick pretty much every single time I take pictures. Like, I mean, of course there are some, you know, there is an environment that I'm used to, for example, here, like in the studio at the moment now, like I know how the light works, I know how it is, so I know what to expect. But I don't know how the person on the other side is going to be, because I think it's very intimate. It's much more intimate from when you're shooting people outside, for me personally, because there is very little movement involved. You can't just change the scenery, you can't just go around the corner and there's another like beautiful background to work with. This is it. We got gray background and we got lights.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Make it happen, yeah.
Make it happen.
Enjoy.
So I think this is definitely, one of those kind of things. So like when I was doing pictures of our mutual friend, musician, Asghar.
Ace Roswell, shout out.
He's amazing. I could feel like, you know, it was fast for him.
Yeah.
So you kind of like take this.
But do you take over then? Like, do you guide him?
Yes,
or what you do? Yeah.
You do. You kind of you need to throw a bone. Yeah. In order for on a bone to stick something, because otherwise you can see that they have no idea how to be, you know.
How is that though? Like, you're the one doing the pictures, doing the editing, and you need your model to like bright up or like get him out of his comfort zone.
Yeah. I mean, that's the tough bit, isn't it? I mean, editing is editing. That's the post editing. Yeah. You're only learning with every single post edit you do. So that's something that it's not time specific. It just happens there on a backbone. Whereas obviously I would always say to myself, I can't expect a most amazing portraiture to come out of this if the person has never even been in the front of the camera, let alone to be in a studio. So that's the expectations in my head straight away. Like, okay, Polina, calm down. If you're going to even get like couple of shots which are fine, that's amazing.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Whereas if I know that I've worked with a person before and I can mold them around a little bit, then obviously expectations for myself will be much higher as well. They will be like, okay, you've done that before already, you can definitely push it to the next level. So this is kind of how it works. But yes, it's much tougher to work with someone who has never been in front of the camera.
Is it fun for you to see, like, during a shoot they're gonna open up more and more? Like, do you see that, like, they're coming out of the...
You realize it, but then usually sometimes what happens is you kind of almost reach your, let's say the shoot is like taking 2 hours. We usually state like, is it 2-3 hours? But we never say like 5 hours and then we chop it off and we go away. Depends on how long it will take. But you know in your head that you as a photographer probably have 3 hours before you're gonna burn down. So what happens usually sometimes is a bit out of sync. So the model warms up, you lose your energy. And by the time you lost your energy completely, the model is like, whoa, I'm ready to rock and roll. And you kind of go like, okay, right.
I was ready to ask it, well, thank you.
I was about to like finish it all. But then, you have to kind of get out. You have to keep shooting. Because now you almost feel like, oh my God, I nailed it. I managed to get it as close to 100 as possible. Now it's my time to shine. It will be almost like, this Leonardo DiCaprio, like losing that iconic shot. If I'm just going to go and, I don't have any energy.
I like that. You have to keep shooting.
Yeah,
I like that.
You have to keep shooting.
No, literally, you got to work through it.
Yeah. And that's when you come home, you collapse. You completely collapse.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be like, personally, I have friends who are wedding photographers and they can do 4 weddings in a row. And those are like 12 to 16 hour shoots. How to do that? I don't know. But they did say to me,
4 weddings and a funeral. Sorry.
Hopefully not. But basically, like, it's just one of those ones where they said, if you want to become like, if you want to build, what you call it?
Portfolio?
No, more like if you want to build a, not the patience, but like become a better and a stronger shooter. It's just like a boot camp, like the weddings are a boot camp because you have everything. They have landscape, you have portraiture, you have detail shoots, you have guest events. It's just a lot of things in one thing. So yeah, I don't know. Like I've done a couple of events and after 3 hours, I was really ready to pack it up and go.
Pack it up and go.
Pack it up and go, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with acting as well, when you're in front of the camera, like you said, you still feel sick or still feel nervous. Like you have maybe 1-2 hours shooting your scenes and then you're done. And then if you fucked up, there's no going back. Unless you have a big budget and they don't do everything again. But like, you gotta bring it when you're there. You really gotta bring it. As a photographer, you gotta bring it while you're at the location. As an actor, you gotta bring it while you're at the location. Otherwise, everything is lost, That's how I feel. That's what can mess you up. That's what can like make you nervous.
Yeah.
Remember this dude, this Danish guy who shot in Vikings?
Yeah.
I read an interview where he said on his first day, and he's never done like a big production before, a guy, he came to him. Yeah, so if you mess this scene up, 65 people are gonna lose their job, and we have a few millions in this production, so go ahead. And that's crazy, like to put pressure on it like that.
That is a lot of pressure. I would smack that person who does something like this. This is just you like raising the percentage of I'm gonna fuck it up from like 10 to like 50, But
then he killed it, so yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, bless him. Absolutely. I think we watched the first season, loved it, but never kind of went any further. I don't know what happened. It's not because the seasons was get bad. It was just, but I loved it. Is it true though? Was it all shot in Denmark?
No, I think it's shot in Ireland, Scotland, or Ireland. Yeah, they have beautiful nature over there.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, like outside of Dublin, I think.
I think there's a lot of production happening in Ireland at the moment now. Do you know why?
No, I think it's just the landscape.
Reckon?
I think like it's very popular. And also like a lot of the American films, they go over here because we have some big studios.
Yeah,
like
we
all
do.
these big studios over here, so they shoot it.
BBC has some big ass, all like storage units where they just recreate for the scenes, and they're all like in the Midlands, somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Because I know that BBC had a lot of studios here, but then eventually it got too expensive for them, so they moved most of the production to Manchester actually, and they had this massive like relocation program happening where obviously you had the producers over here, so they can't be traveling every day to Manchester, so they took their families and actually moved them to Manchester as well.
That's
so it's almost like a mini city. Like I've been there. It was actually it's a massive. It's not even like it's not a mini city, but it's like definitely a massive district.
It's crazy
where all those kind of media people are living next to each other, having their families, and that's what BBC did. So that was quite okay, cool, interesting, guys. Well done.
Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah.
This industry of people that do.
I know.
I would love to shut down the whole street though. That's my goal. One day to shut down a busy street in London because of a film.
I can't even imagine how much money or what you have to go through. Because like 28 Days Later, what they've done. Have you seen that movie?
No.
28 Days Later, when it's like, it's not a zombie apocalypse, but something very similar.
Okay.
And they didn't have they couldn't shut down the streets. Obviously, they were not allowed by by the ministry or whatever, the government. And it was the tower, not the Tower Bridge, is the one bridge which goes toward the Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. Okay.
You know which one I'm talking about. So they then took both cars on both sides of the bridge, turned them over so nobody could actually walk past. Yeah. Took a big bus, turned it over, shot the whole scene, and then put it back in before the police arrived.
And no one said, wow, okay. Wow, that's crazy. You gotta be fast, man.
I know, you got to be really fast. And that is
London.
like the stakes. Yeah, exactly that.
All right, yeah, I mean, props to them.
props to them. Honestly, you have some really big.
gotta have some balls, yeah.
to do that.
Cojones.
Because at the moment now we have Nolan shooting in Tallinn, some sort of movie, and nobody's aware of what it is. But they had to shut down one of the main kind of streets, which leads from one of the suburban areas to the city centre, and it's very crazy and busy. And it was like a lot of debate happening there. A lot of people were very unhappy, and it's for the whole month. They had to shut down the whole thing. And that's Tallinn. That's just a small ass city in Europe. Like London is a completely different thing, isn't it?
So it's crazy how films can do that.
Yeah.
But it's a film, and you can shut down the whole city because you're shooting this film. It has a lot of power.
It has a lot of
power.
Film
has a lot of power, man.
Absolutely. And I think production companies sometimes can be real nasty.
Nasty. Like, I remember the street where I worked, like one of the busiest streets, probably like central Covent Garden, and they shut down the street for like a good.
Covent Garden.
Yeah, right on Henrietta Street.
Oh.
They shut it down for like a good 3 or 4 days just for shooting a film, and it's just big vans everywhere, like literally. Like it's like a whole small city, like moving back and forth in the country.
I just kind of like thinking how many people are actually in the whole. Wow. How many people is involved in all of this?
Yeah, you see all those names on the credits. It's crazy.
But you understand that every single one of them is goddamn important, And if they're not gonna, come to work, you will be like, okay, struggling. Maybe not. I don't know. I've never actually worked on a big production set, so it will be actually quite interesting to see what it is all about.
Very interesting.
Yeah. That's like what it is.
It is what it is. I gotta say, your voice is very nice to listen to in these headphones, Polina.
But it's the same, isn't it? Like, I love your voice here. It's just like... Perfect jokes. Here we go. Just for the record, we haven't had any beer. It's just all water.
It's all water.
Guys, it really is all just water.
We're just doing this to each other, It's the vibe.
It is the vibe, isn't it? Always the case. So, yeah, well, I mean, thanks for coming in.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing your knowledge about the acting.
Well, one might say knowledge, I don't know.
Well, yeah, of course. Like I'm thinking one day you're going to be a big ass actor and I'll be like, you know what? I know this guy.
Hopefully. I started Googling, like I typed in Google how to become an actor.
Right. What does Google say?
Google said a lot of weird stuff.
Damn you, Google.
Yeah. But now it's like slowly starting to happen and all these projects.
Do you feel like it's getting somewhere? Do you feel like it's not just a dream anymore? It's something. It's it's getting tangible. Do you feel that's the case?
I feel I made this deal with myself. As soon if it's a long period where I can't see any progress, if I'm literally not moving anywhere, then maybe start thinking about, hey, what am I doing here? But ever since I started trying, it's just been like going up. Like I've done a project, met a guy, done another project. Met a guy, done another project. Met a guy, done another project. And that's how it's been this whole time.
Wow.
And of course, it's not going to be like that.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're going to have like a period where nothing is happening. But as long as I can see a process and as long as I can feel that I'm moving somewhere, I'm going to keep going. And I'm starting to feel like things are starting to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a long way from a lot of things, but.
Well, but where would you like to be then? Was it the Hollywood actor? Or?
Where I would like to be on such a level that I can pick and choose projects. Like I'd be like, oh, this one I would really love to do, or even create my own and help direct something, and pick and choose and be like acknowledged for my work. I think everyone wants to be acknowledged for their work.
True.
I don't get the people who walk up to celebrities and ask for a photo and just leave without asking them any questions. Like, if you go and say like, hey, I really enjoyed your work. Like I'm a waiter, so I meet a lot of famous people where I work. It's a sushi restaurant, so people love sushi. And literally to be like, you can see how much they appreciate it when you say, hey, you really inspire me with what you do. Like it's just, they really appreciate it. And I think that's what a lot of people want, like to inspire people. That's one of the big reasons why I'm doing acting, to give people that feeling that I get when I'm watching a film and I'm getting drawn into it. I'm making a decision because of this film. I want to give people that feeling and really have an effect on society or whoever's watching. If you're having a bad day and you watch a film and you're like, damn, that really made my mood. And if you ever get the chance to tell me that, or like, that would mean a lot, to be acknowledged for your work. Yeah.
That's great. That is true. We're all working for acknowledgement, isn't it? Please pick me.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
No, it's not like that. Yeah, it's
to have an effect on people and inspire people.
I think from personal experience, obviously when I'm on Instagram and sometimes, you're just putting the stories up, and mostly my stories will be just the pictures that I've taken the day before, something like that, just because I just like sharing that thing with you guys. And it will take like literally 3 to 4 people to message me and be like, this is beautiful. This is lovely. I like what you've done here. Or like, this actually really inspired me. And for me, if before would be like, oh yeah, that's cool, thanks. For now, I'm just thinking for you to take a time out of your day to look at it and decide to share that message with me.
Yeah.
Is actually just so much more, gratitude goes towards that.
Amazing.
That is amazing. So I completely agree and understand when you say you want to inspire people to feel the same way that you felt when, you watched the
As a
movies.
kid and watching, yeah.
I think if you stay true to this, you know what's going to happen. You're going to go big, but like it depends how big or what is big for you, But I felt like if you're going to stay hungry and curious, something is going to come your way.
You guys, you don't see this right now, but she's looking me straight into my eyes while she's saying this. And she's so sweet, man.
Aww.
Thanks so much.
Don't stop crying at
Thank
me.
you so much, man. No, hopefully we're going to keep working together,
I think we will, of course.
For sure, man.
We've got some big things to happen together, you know what I mean? We're not done with you yet, mate. So yeah, I guess thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
What a chat. Thank you, Frederick, for taking the time to share your experience with us. I had a blast. You've definitely quenched my curiosity. Everybody, thank you for listening. There will be more weekly podcasts coming out, so stay tuned. Meanwhile, you can check my Instagram @TopTwith for the daily behind the scenes. Thanks.